What's up, peeps? How is everybody doing today? Welcome. I am in Florida today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I call this, you guys know this, I call this the locker room. And the locker room now, that's why I love the term locker room, because the locker room isn't always one place. You know, when I played here at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, we had a locker room. And then you go to Miami, there was a locker room. In Dallas, there was a locker room. And in every place that I've gone to work on TV, we've always tried to create that locker room. That's that place where everybody feels safe because we all have one purpose in mind, and that's to get better. That's all we're here to do. Talk about things and figure out how we can use things to help us get better while we learn about those things. We extrapolate the stories from all of sports, add them to our lives to try to make our lives better. That's why I love UFC, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I love UFC. I can't, you know. I watched the fight the other night with Dustin Poirier and Mad Max. But let me tell you why I fell in love with it. At first, I was afraid to watch it because I've never seen such brutality to the human body. But then, because Dana, I used to go speak for UFC. And first time he brought me in to watch, I was like, oh my God. I was like watching like this, like, oh my God, how can they put this on TV? How can they watch? It was so gruesome. But I just kept watching. First, I was watching like this, and then like, and then like, you know what I'm saying? Because I got used to it and started only grabbing the stories out of the brutality. I would see somebody, man, getting his ass whooped. And no way he's going to win this fight. This thing is over. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he catches the other guy with the right or an uppercut or overhand, and it's over, just like that. And I say to myself, fighter A was at the brink of destruction. It was over. He was damn near dead. And fighter B looked like he was on top, about to take over everything. And in one fair turn, things switch. Sometimes, man, you get in a tough situation, you think there's no way out, no way you're going to get back on top of this situation. One thing, just like that, just like in the fight, can turn it for you. That's what I started doing. That's why I started extrapolating things out of these fights and taking them and putting them in my fight. And that's what I do with every sport. But I do love UFC, and I'm just bringing that up, you know, because that was fresh on the mind, even though what's fresh really on the mind right now is that every team in the National Football League has started training camp, except two. That's two. That two would be the Steelers and the Falcons right now are the only two. And I got to call my boy Fredo Roberts over at the Steelers because they've been asking me to come by training camp and spend some time. And I haven't called him back and told him that I'm going to do it. I told him I want to do it. I just have to find the time to get away to go to Pittsburgh and spend some time with them at training camp. I'm looking forward to it. Now, guys, yesterday when I woke up and I saw all the news about the start of training camp, of course, all the news circulated around the Dallas Cowboys. It always tickles my fancy to watch everybody talk about, here comes Cowboys. I hope y'all ain't playing talking about the Cowboys all day, every day. I don't want to start that. We're not going to have the same thing. The Cowboys didn't even make it to an NFC Championship game in 30 years, so we don't need to be starting the show talking about them. But they started every show yesterday talking about the Cowboys. And then they started a lot of them today breaking down what Jerry Jones said yesterday at noon in Dallas when he was doing the press conference. I kind of talked to you guys about that and the tape that I shot out the other day because I thought there were some things Jerry could have connected better with the people. And sometimes I think Jerry gets into fights with the media And he's so important, so busy fighting and measuring things, with the media, that he forgets that, honestly, you serve the people. So when they asked Jerry, and it's the thing that kind of, I'm not bothered by it when he started talking about contracts with Michael Parsons and the Bull joke. I love J.J. Watt. I love J.J. Watt. But you can tell J.J. Watt, I love him. He got that little boy syndrome. Not the little boy syndrome. That's not true. It's little brother syndrome. Little brother stuff. That's what he got, the little brother stuff. Not with T.J. Watt. He got that little brother stuff with the Dallas Cowboys because he was in Houston. And he's a bad dude that did a lot of great things in Houston, but obviously he always takes his little shot at the Cowboys. He's kind of learned to do that in his short career in the NFL. He's learned to try to make himself, if I can talk about Jerry, he puts it out there. Oh, I would like to be what a great owner this is. You start the press conference off talking about putting down his star backer, talking about Michael Parsons, and his star quarterback talking about Dak Prescott. Like nobody else does any of this. Nobody else, no other owner does. No, like stop. I don't mind. I understand that most of our history we add to our reality. Even when we speak about whatever destiny that we see anything on, it comes from our history. So J.J. Watt shooting after Jerry Jones, like this is the worst owner in the world. You do remember all the things that were going on in Houston. Let's just say that, and the owner, and remember all the things they brought when they brought in that guy that was going and running the chapels, all of the ministry work, and then talking about it with people. You know what I'm saying? So let's just stop. But he's gotten it in this. He knows he put something out about Jerry like that, then everybody starts writing and talking about it. And that's what they've done. And everybody, I talked about it too. There's a way Jerry could approach certain things. I understand that. But listen, it's the start of football season, and everybody got people missing out of camp. Speaking of, let's start with that. Terry McLaurin did not present, did not show up for the conditioning test because he's seeking a new contract. Trey Henderson, he didn't show up because he's seeking a new contract. Michael Parsons did show up, and he's still seeking a new contract. See, that should have been the storyline right there. People seeking new contracts. And that Michael Parsons did show up out of all those three people who we could say top three that deserves the new money right now. Only one showed up, and he plays for the Cowboys. They could not flip the story like that to make that a story that would be a kudos to Michael Parsons. We should be talking about how cool, how good it is, how committed Michael Parsons is. He's going to make $24 million this year. That's a lot of money, even if he plays on this contract. But if he gets a new deal, he's going to make $42 million. Get a big guarantee. So he's going to make a lot of money, and he shows up. That I think should have been the conversation as we open training camp. So I'm just saying that. I love J.J. Watt, but come on, J.J. It's okay to tweet about Houston. I know the tweet ain't going to go viral. Ain't nobody going to give a damn. Ain't nobody certainly going to be starting no shows talking about it. You know what I mean? Because the only thing that got that kind of coverage was some of the Deshaun Watson stuff. But I don't want to shoot low blows like that because a lot of people got marred in that didn't deserve it. So I will let that go. J.J. Watt, just stick with Houston. That's all I'm saying. And talk. Now I want to talk about how important it was that Michael Parsons showed up, and that was the big thing I told you guys right here. I love when I'm watching. I watched it the other day when they were practice. I saw Jerry talking to Michael Parsons. They're running. They show that everywhere. Jerry and Michael Parsons will have a better chance of getting the deal done from those little snippets that you see, as opposed to the CD Lamb piece where he wasn't around, or the Dak Prescott piece where everything went through the agent. If Jerry feels he's got his hands on it, he'll make it more important to get it done. He even spoke to that the other day. Remember in the press conference yesterday, he said, I don't speak to the principal. He said, I only speak to the principal. A lot of times I don't speak to all of these other people that are dangling around and dangling participles. I don't like to be played with all of that. And people will take that like you put down the agent. But I don't like how you play with that. But I'm just telling you, for Cowboys' sake, that feels good to see him talking with them. And another thing I saw people are starting to talk about now, that combination. You see what I'm saying? So CBS show, that's J.J. Watt. He's going to throw out Jerry Jones. The ESPN show, that's my boy Ryan Clark. He throws out. The Cowboys have probably the second best duo, a combination. I should say combination quarterback and 2 wide receivers. They put them probably behind Cincinnati. And I was thinking, yeah. Now, that's a good battle. I would say Cincinnati certainly first. And second, we're going to come up on the CD Lamb and George Pickens. I also think in that fight, you have to start throwing, the Tyreek Hill, and I'll tell you why, the Tyreek Hill and Tua and that group in there, because when I get to Dak, especially late, Dak's been hurt a little bit the last few years, and that's sustained some injuries. And Tua has sustained some injuries. When Tua's in Miami, that group is pretty good. When he plays, that group is pretty good. And they played well together already. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens now with this group right now, with this group that we have at the wide receiver group with CD and George Pickens. So I'm looking forward to that. So you see what I'm saying? Everybody from each station have their thing that they put out there that goes viral, but the only thing that goes viral, I gotta get wait a minute, guys. I gotta get my cord. Let me plug this up. The thing just told me, wait a minute, brother. The thing is going to go dead on us. Plug her up. Yeah. Let's see. So that combination we got is going to be the key. So everybody now, and I just like watching all that stuff and see who says Cowboys got a chance to make it the playoffs. Of course, who says they don't. And it's surprisingly enough, I was pleasantly surprised with the number of people that believe the Cowboys have a chance to make it the playoffs, as opposed to the number of people that say, oh my God, the Cowboys will miss the playoffs because two teams that were in, two teams that were in the NFC Championship game last year were in the NFC and the NFC East, and got y'all, baby. I got y'all, baby. Can't go nowhere. And it's going to be tough for the Cowboys to even get out of the East. I was already telling y'all that I'm expecting 3 teams from the East to get in there. But this one, Michael Parsons showing up and Terry McLaurin not showing up can tip that balance. Seeing Jerry talk to Michael Parsons and Michael Parsons at camp and Terry McLaurin not even showing up at camp, that's all this will take. That's all this can take to tip that balance. Now, I'm sure they'll get it done with Terry McLaurin. I don't care what anybody say. Terry has fought through everything over there, and he's deserved what he is looking for, what he is seeking, because he's played so well and played the right, positioned himself right, presented himself right. He was poised, he positioned, and then he presented. Remember, that's homiletics, teaching, and preaching. I'm giving you 3 P's. Poised, he positioned himself, and how he presented himself, and now he wants that money. And he deserves it. And I'm hoping, I always want him, I want every player to get his money. I just want them to slow dance this thing, because I want them to have a rough start to the season. If they have a rough start to the season, and I believe they will without Terry McLaurin, it would be a different team. I believe they will, because that dude there is a difference maker. I know they got Deebo Samuel, and I know I will put this group in that group conversation we just had. But without Terry McLaurin, even in camp, we can't talk about it, because we've never seen Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel playing together. You said, Michael, well, we never saw CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens play together. No, we haven't. But we've seen a whole bunch of CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. So we know that combination there. Now you add George Pickens. We have seen none of Jay McDaniels and Deebo Samuel. We know there is nothing there. And you guys got Terry McLaurin out, you see? So in Dallas' hand, since the number 1 guy has worked with the quarterback, then you can be good as you ingratiate and bring in the number 2. In Washington's side, you need that number 1 so you can set up this number 2 in the proper way, because right now, if number 1's not there, everybody will double team number 2, and you'll never get to build the combination, never get to build that chemistry that you need with number 2, because he's the double team guy now. The idea was to get Terry McLaurin, have him out there. That's where the double team would go. And now your number 2 receiver in Deebo Samuel get the number 2 cornerback and do him dirty while they grow that chemistry. You see, so it is imperative that you have the 2 number 1s, the quarterback and the receiver, there to bring along that number 2. And Washington don't have their 2 number 1 quarterback and receiver trying to bring along their so-called number 2 receiver, which is a number 1 receiver. Deebo Samuel is a number 1 to me. I want to see if George Pickens is going to be that number 1 all the time. I see you, baby. I see your good stuff one-on-one. This is our time. Our time is now. You see, that sounds like one of the speeches I give on the big board. You know what I mean? When I start talking about what the season's going to be. So, it's our time, it's our season, and I feel good about this too. This thing with these rosters improvement, let me see, what he's saying with these rosters improvement, move that up. Go up a little bit. Let's see. And health and all, we could have a good season. And I do believe that too. Even the other day, they were getting on who's that? Tyler, the guard, talking about we're expected to go to the Super Bowl, and everybody started talking about, well, can you really expect the Cowboys to expect to go to the Super Bowl? Yeah, you can. That's what's so exciting about right now. Every team right now has a chance, and every year you get, I think about 6 or 7 new teams jumping in. Every year you get 6 or 7 new teams that jump in this thing and say, it's my turn and I want to try. And I believe we're going to get it again this year. What do you say? We just have to handle our division. Yeah, and see, you see that mentality? And let me tell you something. Don't discount that. When someone says you got to handle our division, that's the other side of it. We had 2 teams from our division in the NFC. So that's the approach. Start saying, man, look at how close you are to being right there. Those 2 teams, the Cowboys have played well against. And those two teams, you'll see them in the playoffs, no doubt. And it's one you're going to have to go through one of those teams. You certainly may even have to go through two of those teams, but certainly you'll have to go through at least one of those teams. You're going to have to play one of them 3 times. Ain't no getting around it. So you can play the champions 3 times, the NFC champs 3 times, or the NFC runner-up 3 times. You're going to have to play one of those teams 3 times. Hopefully not both, but that's how tough it's going to be to get to that Super Bowl. So that's why I love it. Hey, James Hurd, get on out of here with that. Hey, James Hurd, there it is right there. Cowboy fans are delusional. James, see, I'll get this, and James would be messing around and be a Titan fan. You know what I mean? If you're an Eagle fan, I'm sure you'd have said that right there. You didn't say it. If you were an Eagle fan. We won a Super Bowl last year. We've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last few years. Cowboy fans are delusional, but you didn't say that, James. So I'm just going to speak on it. You know, what does that mean right there? I don't know, man. Texas T346. He says, Mike, what does Dallas have against signing run-stopping DTs that play at a high level? Yeah. And they do have, I guess, consistencies on the way they like to place out. And that's what Jerry was talking about, where they like to spend the money and everything. Because he's talking about that's 10 to 12% of the people that make most of the money on the salary cap when you look at it. And they were talking about the Trayvon Diggs situation and why they're docking, taking $500,000 away from him, and why was that made so public. And they tried to mess with Jerry, and that's Jerry. It's the first time you ever reduced the salary from $8.5 to $8 million. Well, even that language, it's blaming and it's not explaining. Jerry, you've never not paid anybody. You never reduced their salary. Jerry didn't reduce Trayvon's salary. Trayvon did that by not showing up for a number of the workouts. You know what I mean? So that was the reduction. It reminded me of what old Joe, Coach Joe used to tell us. Coach Joe used to say, I didn't find you, you find yourself. You find you. When you don't show up on time, I'm handing you the piece of paper that says $1,000. But not showing up on time, that's what finds you. I just handed you the paper. That clock that alarm clock that snooze button on and all that's what finds you. So yeah, that's the way you have to look at it. But how they present it is if Gary just went in and said, you know what, I'm gonna mess with him. That kind of stuff you have to watch out. That's just what the media do when it's us. When it's us, let's be real. Let's be real about it. What you saying, double start 3388. If we do get into Super Bowl, finally, they'll talk about you, playmaker. Yeah. Dude, they ain't talk. I don't care about you talking about me, but I'm gonna make me some more money too. Whenever the Cowboys rise, the tide rise, and the tide rises all boats. For some reason, I don't know why it works that way, but I'll get more autograph shows. They still pay me a lot of money to do autographs, especially if the Cowboys win. It brings back up all the old stuff. Yeah. I love watching the Cowboys win because everything does work better for me and any Cowboy fan and every Cowboy fan because a rising tide raises all boats. Playman, make it happen before he knows what he's talking about. Wait, go back. Let me see what good stuff's saying there again. Good stuff you're saying. So go up a little bit. Let's go up here and see if we can get past it. A little bit more. No. The other way. You're going the right way. Yeah. Keep going. Right. Let me find it. Make it happen before you know what he's talking about. Yeah. And I'm hoping he's talking about making this thing happen with Michael Parsons. That's our number one thing here. We've gotten to this season without just overly talking about money, 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 money. We've gotten a chance to talk about the direction the Cowboys are headed in. We've gotten a chance to talk about, what Coach Schottenheimer is going to do, his new approach. I told you about creating pressure and competition. And I told you yesterday in his press conference, first thing, that's the one thing I love about everything he said. The one thing I love was he said, we will have a winner in every drill. Dude, that's the most important thing you have to say. We will have a winner in every drill because we have the everybody wins a trophy mentality, a generation. That's where they've come from. So now you got to sweep that out of their brain. Ain't no damn everybody getting a trophy. Only the Eagles got one last year. The year before that, only the Chiefs got one. And the year before that, only the Chiefs got one. So you gotta grab something, dig down in all of their brains, and start digging out all of that everybody get a trophy stuff. And you do that by saying somebody will win in every situation. Not everybody win in every situation. Somebody, one body will win in every situation because you're not just training your body, you're retraining your mind. And the Cowboys need a mind changing, a retraining. All right, Jalen, Mike, I'm in Detroit. What do you think? What do you think about the Lions? What do you think the Lions will do this year after losing both coordinators? That's a tough one now, but I've been right there. Remember, I've been there. We lost the Norv Turners, the Dave Weinstedts. We lost, I think, both in 1 year. So, yeah, that's always tough. But remember, if you got somebody that was in-house and working with the system, or you have somebody that's coming in that really built the system and knows the system. I had a chance. I went from David Schuler, and then I got Norv Turner, and David Schuler. That's a whole nother story. But Norv Turner, who had spent the draft with me, Norv Turner was with me at the draft, thinking he was going to get me in with the Rams. God is so good, man. God's so good. And I wanted to go with Norv to LA with the Rams because I really loved him right away, and we connected right away. And then I get to Dallas, and I have those years. I have a year with David Schuler, and then Coach Jimmy comes to me and said, "Hey, I'll never forget." Coach Jimmy comes to me and said, and I believe it was Dave Schuler said, "Well, some people think you'll never be the same receiver, and they wanted me to trade you." And he said to me, "I couldn't do it." And this was when my knee was coming back. I was coming back slow from my ACL. He said, "I couldn't do it. We've been through too many battles. And I know what's in there." He said, I'm getting emotional for it. He said, "All I'm saying is get ready. I'm not getting rid of you. I got rid of him. We're getting a new offensive coordinator." I said, "What?" And that's when I heard that we were getting Norv Turner. And that turned it for me. That turned it. I don't know. I was funny with Dave Schuler. I said Dave Schuler was funny with me. And I don't know. I thought Dave got in this job because of his dad. Obviously, he didn't stay around football that long. And I was a guy that had earned my job by the sweat of my chin. And I wanted, and I worked hard and it went hard. And I don't know, we didn't click. And I'll never forget when Jimmy came to me and said that. He said, "I can't do it." He said, "I've been in too many battles with you. I haven't been in battles with them." He said, "Get ready. I'm getting you a new offensive coordinator." And that's how I heard about Norv Turner, and things took off. Now, you're asking because after we won Super Bowl, just like Philly, boom, we lost the Dave Weinstead, and we lose the Norv Turner. And that situation is even different because we were a young team when we got Norv. We didn't even know how to win. What Detroit's now trying to do is hold on to the base of what they've used the last few years, even though they did not accomplish the final goal. And then lose those coordinators and bring in new coordinators. So now, at least with us, all right, after we won Super Bowls and Norv left, Dave left, the players, the nucleus of the team that was there already knew we can do this because we did it before. Yeah, we got new offensive coordinators, new coordinators, but we have been there before. See, Detroit never reached the promised land. So now they're getting new coordinators. And who? The coordinators, who's going to give who? When we went from Norv Turner to Ernie Zampese, now remember, Norv Turner learned under Ernie Zampese. So we went from Danielson to Mr. Miyagi. So I was like, oh, this is great. I know Norv and Ernie be talking all the time, and Ernie's coming in running the same offense, and he was all he had to say is, I just do what Norv was doing. Throw to that brother. You know what I mean? And Ernie and I, we were great. We went right on. From the time Ernie got there, the whole motto on our team was, we're going to get the Super Bowl for you, Ernie. Because Ernie had never won a Super Bowl. He had run some of the greatest offenses in the NFL, but he had never won a Super Bowl. All we kept saying, oh, we're going to win a Super Bowl. We're going to get you there, Ernie. I guarantee you we're going to get you there. And we did. And that was our motto because we knew how to get there. You just call the plays, we're going to get you there. Detroit, that's the part I'm worried about. And if you keep losing coordinators and you never got there, that's tough. That's going to be tough. And they lost some good ones now. I can't wait to see what Aaron Glenn does also with the Jets. I can't wait to see what happens with the quarterback situation there and giving Garrett Wilson that money and seeing how those guys come together and blend in. And some people even surprised they got the Jets sneaking in to their playoffs in the AFC East. So I can't wait to see that. Dude, it is so good. Ernie would be up in the coach's suite. Wait. He's talking about Ernie being up in the coach's suite. Because each coordinator, smacking gum, each coordinator has this little nervous tick. Each one of them has that nervous tick. I mean, they got their own little thing that they do. You know what I mean? One of them, who was that? Somebody had pins, Ernie or Norv? They had pins, and they would turn them pins when he's trying to call. Well, what do you think about him, Michael? Yeah. And you're looking at him. You just looking at the little nerve tick, that little thing here. The one guy with Troy. Because see, I came over like when Troy come walking over to the coordinator. When they call the timeout, Troy comes walking over. Dude, I'm walking over with Troy. Everybody else in the huddle, I'm walking over like, hey, I'm right up on what play you call? Stop messing around right here. You know what I mean? And then I'll tap Troy, run back to the huddle. I got to get set. So when he comes in, I get to play, and we go. But I done heard the play. You know, so I walk over there with him. Whatever that little nervous twitch is, buddy, just call the ball to me and stop being nervous. Let's get this going. You know what I mean? Bro, I'm an Eagles fan, but you have the best nickname ever. I appreciate that. Prime time is a good one, too. Speaking of, let's just throw some prayers up because when I was flying, I saw people talking about, Deion's situation and everything. I already told you guys now. I'm going to sit down with Deion and we'll talk about those things. But Deion's not going to talk to anybody about what's going on with him until he talked to his players. I mean, his mom couldn't get him to do an interview about that. He would feel like that he's, how can you sell that we are family and you telling the world something before you talk to us, family? So, and he's right with that. He's right with that. So I'm all right. You know what I mean? I'm all right with that. That's the right thing. Just saying, thanks for your honest answer about my lines. Yeah, buddy, that's what's real. But that's real. But they'll do well, man. Because what they have there, and think about this, you getting that big beast back. That big beast back, man. Trust me, man. Yeah. Detroit will be fine. A lot of people are trying to think, oh, Chicago gonna jump up in there now since they took the offensive coordinator from Detroit. Chicago will jump in there. The Vikings. That is a tough division. That's going to be Green Bay. That's a tough division. But yeah. I right now, I'm still taking Detroit. The whole kicker is and it's this was the kicker then, as I said, it's how that relationship goes with Jared Goff. That's the kicker. Norv and Troy were so tight, and then Troy and Ernie worked so well together because that whole ring, just one good circle. It's how Jared Goff played. Jared Goff, what he picked up at Detroit was he stopped playing. He wasn't forced. He didn't force to go big ball, play ball up the field. That was what I told you guys. What Matt Stafford loves doing. That's what caused them problems in Detroit. But it blesses them with the Rams. Over here, it was causing Jared Goff's problems with the Rams because he wouldn't go up the field. And that's that, greatest show on turf off. He wouldn't go up the field. But in Detroit, he was able to play small ball, dink and dunk. But they made great things out of it with the talent that they have around him. So now his game was put into their game plan. And they're using the same offense. It's not like this is a different offense. It's not like that offense goes up the field more and this offense plays dingo. It's the same West Coast offense. They just use different attack modes and different attack points and different attack styles. Matthew Stafford looking for up the field plays, and then he's checking down. Jared Goff, Detroit, Ben Johnson, they were playing the short game. I'm going to hand it to our guys, and our guys are so special they go and make it the big game. You know what I mean? And it worked well. And it works well for Jared Goff because here's the number one factor. It keeps down all of the turnovers. And when Jared Goff keeps the turnovers down, he wins games. You can say what you want. He wins games. So yeah, I like that. I told you before, I like that they made that decision, they made that switch, and I think it worked for both parties. And both parties got a great improvement. Matthew Stafford never got Detroit to these kinds of seasons that they're having right now. Never got Detroit to these kinds of seasons. So you can say, well, man, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff have a better season than Matthew Stafford had. And Matthew Stafford has had some incredible individual performances with some of the receivers that he's thrown. He's had a Triple Crown winner with Megatron, and then turned around and did it again with Cooper Kupp. I don't know too many quarterbacks have had that, So Matthew Stafford has had some great years, but he won more and got farther in with the Rams than he did with Detroit. And Matthew Stafford, I think, works better with the Rams than he did with Detroit. And Jared Goff, like I said, worked better with Detroit than he did with the Rams. So, I think that was a perfect trade right there. You guys see what Tyrann Matthews retired, man. Tamac, the Honey Badger retires. He won that Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. I wonder how he would, because he had a great career. I wonder how he would summarize his whole career. Just want to tell him, man, I enjoyed watching him watching him over the years, watching him from his New Orleans days, making his way and the way he played. He's always been a ball hawk, my brother. I hope you have whatever you decide to go into. I hope you have great success, just like you had great success in the National Football League. One thing I want to jump on right quick. Hey, I'm online right quick in my room. One thing I want to jump on right quick, guys. I'm gonna hit this fast like a drive-by. All right. Because that's kind of how they wanted to play out. They wanted it to play like a drive-by. You guys have heard that and I'm so happy for him that they reached a settlement in the Shannon Sharpe situation, Shannon Sharpe case with the girl, and I don't know her name. I try not to remember those things. I don't know her name or whatever that situation was, but just things that I know. And of course, me having experienced some of that stuff, and the kind of things that people talk about. And that's all I'm talking about with you guys. I want to just break down why things went the way they went. You see what happened, right? They had, I think, a court date July 19th. Was it 19th, something like that? And yeah, and I think only Shannon Sharpe's people showed up. The accuser or her lawyer did not show up. So you could start assuming maybe they were working on a deal right there. Still surprising. But not working on a deal. They were very close to a deal, because there's no way they don't show up if they were not close to a deal. I'm talking about the other side. You see what happens here is the season's coming. And everybody is saying, well, let's wait and see how this thing plays out with Shannon. Let's wait and see how it plays out. And then so that puts a time thing on, because you got the season. And he wants to move it on and get rid of it before going into the season, so he can try to get his life back. He can try to get his life back. I understand that. I just always find it interesting that, we go through all of this, and everybody says all of these stuff. And then right at the end, when you get the money, everybody just comes up and says, well, we acknowledge that this was a consensual relationship. Just before you said it wasn't. The things weren't consensual. And, it's just that I understand it's a settlement goal, but I'm like, what? There ain't something wrong with that? Like, courts are for, you got two people and you see that we both have different perspectives on things, and let the court decide who's right. You see it that you're right, you see it that you were right. Let's let the court decide who was right. I just think that this game we play is not seeking truth. It's just seeking money. That's for one thing. And every game we play seeks money. And I don't even want to read the comments, because then people turn them to me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say your name here, but somebody said she wasn't a victim, and stuff like that. And a lot of times we know or have a strong feeling about a situation, but you can't say certain things until after it all plays out. I'm only bringing it up to say I'm so happy that he gets the chance now to try to turn his attention back to his life, and notice the timing. I'm just sharing with you guys. Notice the timing. That thing got settled on Thursday or Friday. I guarantee you, it got pushed out there that Friday. Remember, it's the worst time, and everybody wants always to put it out. Any bad information, you want to put it out on that Friday. Why, Michael? You drop it that Friday, you get people talking about it on the radio show that day. They settled. And then after Saturday and Sunday, whatever sports goes on, Monday people got to talk about that on every show. So it becomes usually the pickup. And this thing doesn't get quite the pickup it got when you were accused. And then people start saying and putting out signs, putting out those statements that, oh, this was a consensual relationship. I just think it's kind of funny about the justice system. You could say somebody did something wrong. Oh, no, that's not money. Nobody did nothing wrong. I was lying. I mean, I was just playing. Whatever. But that's why they put that thing out Friday. They got it out. Nobody really covers it Monday, and especially right now because we're in the training camp. We really ain't got time for that right now. I want to talk about football. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy he got it out, and I'm just repeating it because I want people to know about the situation. Man, so I know a lot of people won't know, and like me, they'll get accused of it forever. But yeah, I just think that says something about our whole justice system. Like lies pay if you're lying. Ken, innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty until proven innocent. And that's true. Because everybody says you were guilty. Now, and then, see, these things, let me just say it this way. These things will never go to trial. Because if they ever go to trial, you won't win. Because through trial, all this stuff will come out. Now, I don't, God bless them or whatever. I don't want to talk about Sean Combs and all of that and the Cassie stuff. But now think about this. Had Sean Combs not capitulated on the settlement and this had gone to trial and she was suing him for $30 million, you think she'd have won that case? Now that you know what went on, you think she would have been able to win a case against him for $30 million now that you've gone through the case? The answer was no. You would have said, stop, girl. You were right there. You the one. You would have said, stop it. There was no, you know what I mean? But the idea is to keep it from the courtroom. She got it before she went to the courtroom. That's all I'm saying. Hey, I'm going to let it go right there. And I'm going to say this. God bless them all. That means I don't want to be in it. My name ain't Bennett. Oh, God. I don't want to be in it, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm happy for my brother. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see him back on TV, talking sports, talking football, and having fun. Before I drop out, man, can somebody talk to me about who do you have winning the Super Bowl this year? As Deion said, it must be the money. Must be the money. Everything is the money. And I just hope, I don't want everything to be about money. I want you to make money, but I want everything to be about us. The other day I was with my grandkids, man. I was so fun. They'll paint my face. She put all kinds of stuff in my hair, my face, and then when they got their nails done and hung out, and all my kids, we had so much fun, and all of them, what I was talking about with them, they were saying, Papa Mike, what was it like to win a Super Bowl? I was like, oh my God, my baby's asking me this, what was it like to win a Super Bowl? And that's just what I want. I want our base to know what it's like to win a Super Bowl again. And that's what I'm hoping for. I hope, I'm going to say it, I see right now, you ask me, yeah, I'm not a gambler. Who, Mike, do you take as a Super Bowl winner? And who do you guys think will win a Super Bowl this year? Right now, not having seen anything with that combination, fresh off of last year, your best bet is to go with the Eagles. You have to say, yeah, the Eagles look like they're positioned right now, the best team to win the Super Bowl. But all of that, the information is made off of last year. And we're going to assess what that group did last year and how many people they kept and whoever they lost, like offense coordinator, like their coordinator and everything, how much will it affect them? I would have to say right now the Eagles are still that team. But coming out of training camp, things can change because now you get to see what guys look like together. Oh, that combination looked like it'll work pretty good. And it really wasn't only this much here, only this much there. Can this team beat the Eagles? Can this team beat the Eagles? I think the Commanders made waves if they could sign Terry McLaurin and got closer to the Eagles. And I certainly think the Cowboys made waves. If I see anything out of this Dak Prescott, George Pickens combination over the next 3 weeks during 4 weeks preseason games here, and not preseason, just preseason, not preseason games, preseason, because I doubt they'll play. Then you start saying, okay, they've gotten closer to the Philadelphia Eagles. So, yeah, it's all easy now. It's all easy because everybody makes the determining factors right now of what they saw last year because we haven't seen the mesh of what teams are going to be just this year with the new additions. So, yeah, I'm going in. Oh, it's perfect. The 5 stars win it in San Francisco. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, boy, I thought you were talking about San Francisco again. Yeah. What you mean, man, is Debo pregnant? What you tried to say, man? Stop messing around. I can't even say I love weed. That's the name, the handle. I love weed. I say that. I guess let's give a trick to play with people like that. But it's Debo pregnant. No, but Debo is one of those. You see some football players that you look at and you say, man, they're built different. Debo's built different. You being funny with as he's pregnant, I'm telling you, you better not get in front of him. You gonna feel like a baby that got ran over by a truck. You see, that's a different dude right there. But there's been some funny built dudes. Like Jerome Bettis, this is my boy. Jerome Bettis didn't look like a power back, but he is. You know what I mean? He is a power back, and he plays running back. I remember when the baddest man in the league was Marshall Faulk. And Marshall Faulk, when you look at it, it just doesn't look like his body should be able to do all of the things that he does, and he does. So you can say which one. I tell you what, I look at Patrick Mahomes. Did you see that dad bod picture of Patrick Mahomes? Everybody put it out there. And then you can see a picture of a Josh Allen with that mighty Hercules-like body. Doesn't matter what they look like. That boy Patrick Mahomes with that old dad bod, with that dad body, will eat you up. That's the killer, not the guy with the 8-pack. It's that dude with that little pooch right there. He will eat you up, man. But yeah, dude, I ain't lying. Bettis would leave you flat. Jerome Bettis. I don't. What? And I only bring it up because I was watching that thing the other day on the NFL Network because they're playing all these old things now, getting us ready for the season, and I'm right there watching. So I'm enjoying that a whole lot. So yeah, I think Raiders have a nice season as well as Bucks. I'm anxious to see that. I'm interested in the Raiders, and honestly, I'm interested in the Bucks because I want to see what happens with Shiloh. And I want to see what happens with Shiloh. I want to see, and I want to do that to guys. Let me do that too. I need to give, because I've been working on my top 10 receivers. I want to get into the season and start talking about it because you brought up the Bucks, and Mike Evans was the dangling participle that I had out there. Like, do I put Mike Evans in this? because I'm talking top 10 now, and it's so hard not to put in history when you talk about top 10, and so especially his history when you put together these many 1,000-yard seasons. And here's the kicker: without the same quarterback. You see, you got to play even at the top. You got to at the top of the list. And when I look at the top of the list, I look at the Justin Jefferson and the number of quarterbacks he's going through. And then I look at Jamar Chase. He's been playing with the same quarterback since, since college. You see what I mean? You got to factor all of that in when you start talking about the best out there. I hear you, Philly D. Talent-wise, Eagles top team. I hear you. As of today, but never know. Come on. Never know with injuries. I understand that, Philly D. You got Philly all in your handle. And then I can like you're a reasonable person. Tell me, we the best today, but you never know. That sounds real, you know what I mean? Real sneaky right there, man. But you're right. Baltimore does look good. And that's what it is right here, dude. The talent level. That's what he's saying. He's dead ass. The talent level is this close. But if you bring in the right person in the locker room, put with the locker room, they can take a talent level to this close, close that gap, and take you over the top, because we leave the skill and go to collective will. You know what I mean? And those teams come together. Like last year, Philly, that team wasn't that much more talented than Kansas City. It was that team came together because of Saquon Barkley more so than any other team, especially over those last few weeks. Because Saquon displayed, I don't want to say talk, that might be a trigger word for a lot of people. But Saquon displayed for A.J. Brown, this is what a leader's supposed to be. And this is how he's supposed to act. Even though I got a chance to go break this record, I don't make that more important than us getting the championship. That one thing put out of that one season is the difference for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they talked about it. When they walked in when they got ready to play that Super Bowl, they said there was no doubt in their mind. They knew they were going to whoop Kansas City Chiefs' butt because they were together. And everything they had gone through, they looked at it as a culminating factor to get them right here. And together, we will not lose. And they whooped that tail. That one thing that Saquon Barkley gave the Philadelphia Eagles is the one thing everybody on here and everybody that's an NFL fan is hoping their team found this offseason. Because that one person with that one thing that can close that gap can take you over the top. That's why we're going to watch the preseason, because we're going to find out what team went out and found that one guy that can bring them together and stick them tight like super glue. That's a super time to check out and break out right here. And I'll catch you guys next time right here in the locker room. But let me tell you why I'm here. Because I'm in Florida. Let me tell you why I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida because it's so funny. My sister called when we did the premiere for the new movie Christmas Eve in LA. And my sister called once they saw it, and she's like, "Sis, we wanted to go to the premiere." I was like, "But it was in LA. It was in LA, and we're gonna bring all you mugs, fly all you mugs to LA, right? Go doing that. That'd have been a whole bunch. But the next day, the movie called me and said, "Hey, we're scheduling. We're scheduling a premiere in Fort Lauderdale." They called me the next day, said we are scheduling one in Fort Lauderdale. I said, "Oh, really?" And then I said, "Okay. And I said, okay, it's cool. And I'll go down. I'll attend that. I'll go attend this one. I'll take my family to this one. So I hit my family up, right? I said, all right, we're coming in. We're going to do the premiere in Fort Lauderdale. How many of you guys need tickets? How many tickets you think these Negroes said? These Negroes said 60. I said, anybody got no 60 damn tickets for y'all? Stop. Anybody got 60 tickets? I don't even know if the theater holds 60 people. And then other people got to be in here. You know what I'm saying? So all right, I called it there. I got to go through all of that. They give me like 35 tickets. 35 tickets. I called my family. What do you think I do? Y'all know family, right? So let me tell you what I had to do for family. I said, all right. They said, well, just get how many you can get. So I called my family. They gave me 35. I said, I got 25. You see, because I got to start breaking them down over here. I got 25 tickets. Ooh, they start counting people out. And then they came back to me and said, well, we need at least one more just to get your brothers and sisters in. Because these brothers and sisters get a +1. You know, and another 13 brothers and sisters living. So they gonna each get a +1. So that's 26 then. So, you know, and then I got my nieces and my nephews, and you know, so I gave them 25, they moved to 26. Then they tried to beg, they begged for 29, then 30. Yeah, I knew that what I'm saying is I knew the number was gonna keep creeping up. So in order to stop me from having to go back to these people over and over again, I gave them the 25, knowing I was gonna hold back the 10. You understand? And as they creeped, you can just kind of bless them without going back. But I'm going to have to call them one more time because they went through even my reserve 10. That's what family does. And get this, we're going to, well, y'all will see when I put it out. Because my family's different. You know, my family's different. Yeah. I go run with billionaires and people and living a hell of a life. But there's nothing like coming back and just being with my family. Because they only see you as that little kid growing up over here. You know what I mean? So it's a different thing, man. And it's going to be fun to be with my family because in this movie, I'm playing a pastor. And my dad was a pastor. And he was a huge, huge Cowboy fan. And he never watched me play. And now I get to kind of play my dad in a movie about a Christmas miracle with my whole family there. Y'all wait. Y'all will be seeing it on social media. We will be doing some family things together that we will let you guys see through on social media, and I'll get it for you guys. It's going to be fun. It'll be interesting, and I guarantee you they may be talking about this on TV. Yeah, Thursday after tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you, I'll talk about it with you guys when we get it done after tomorrow. That's all the time I have right now in this locker room. We'll see you next time. Next week, same bat channel. Right around the same bad time. Love you, my peeps in the locker room. It is football season. We got a game in 10 days. Right around the corner. Is it 10 now? Yeah, 31st. We got a game real soon. That's all I'm saying. God bless my peeps. See you next